Hi everyone, I'm Sugashni from Kulia 8. Today in this video we are going to focus on the vertebrates. You know what is vertebrates? The animal that having backbones. My subtopic is the reptiles. Actually, in secondary school itself we have studied about the reptiles, but still most of us don't know what's the definition for reptiles. So let's see the slide to know more about reptiles. As you can see my slide here, reptiles are the successful group of terrestrial animals in the world. There are more than 17,000 species of reptiles in our world. The most interesting part is birds are also included in reptiles. This slide shows that reptiles are having almost 7 characteristics. And these characteristics help reptiles to fully adapt to live on the land. So let's go through deeply on the characteristics of the reptiles. Now let's focus on the first characteristics, which is paired limbs. As you can see my slide here, reptiles have 2 pairs of limbs with 5 toes. Through these paired limbs, reptiles are adapted for climbing, running, paddling or flying. Let's look on some example of reptiles. First, turtles use their limbs for paddling. Other than that, crocodiles and lizards use their limbs for climbing and running. And birds are using their limbs for flying. So now let's look on the second characteristics, which is skin. As you can see my slide here, reptiles are having thick and dry skin which is impermeable to water. Other than that, reptiles are having wholly or partly scaled skin. Most of the reptiles molds their skin several times in a year, such as snakes. So let's focus on the third characteristics, which is efficient breathing. As you can see my slide here, in reptiles, lungs are more developed than amphibians, so that they can have efficient breathing in reptiles. Other than that, an expandable rib cage also assists for efficient breathing in reptiles. Now let's focus on the fourth characteristics, which is efficient circulation. As you can see my slide here, it shows heart prevents mixing of blood in reptiles. A septum divides ventricle either partially or completely. If partially divides the ventricle, the oxygen poor blood mixing with the oxygen rich blood will be reduced. If septum divides ventricle completely, the oxygen poor blood is completely separated from oxygen rich blood. This is how the blood circulation works in reptiles, which lead to efficient circulation. Now let's focus on the fifth characteristics, which is efficient excretion. In reptiles, the kidneys are well developed. So it's very easy to excrete uric acid from reptiles, and this leads to less water required to rid the body of nitrogenous waste. Now let's focus on the sixth characteristics, which is ectothermy. As you can see my slide here, it shows most of the reptiles are ectotherms, which means cold-blooded. And this allows them to survive on a fraction of the food per body weight required by birds and mammals. Other than that, ectothermic reptiles are adapted behaviorally to maintain a warm body temperature by warming themselves in the sun. Now let's focus on the seventh characteristics, which is well-adapted reproduction. They are saying that reptiles are having well-adapted reproduction because of 3 main reasons. As you can see my slide here, the 3 main reasons are presence of internal fertilizations, presence of extra-embryonic membranes, and also presence of amnion. Sexes are separate and fertilization is internal. This internal fertilization prevents sperm from drying out when copulation occurs. Copulation means breeding. The second one is amniotic eggs. Amniotic egg means the type of eggs provided by reptiles, egg-laying mammals and also birds. In amniotic egg itself, the embryo develops. So the amniotic egg contains extra embryonic membranes which prevent embryo by providing oxygen, food and water for embryo, and it also removes nitrogenous waste. The third one is one of the membranes from the extra embryonic membrane called as the amnion, which is a sac that fills with fluid and provides a private pond to the embryo. This helps the embryo to its efficient development. And the important thing is the extra embryonic itself not a part of embryo. So as soon as embryo develops, the extra embryonic membrane will be disposed. This is how the well-adapted reproduction occurs in reptiles.